to try and understand where we are and put in place certain reforms before we jump into business as usual, where we now begin to appoint political appointees and give people responsibilities. I also did come out with that policy very, very consciously, because I realized that the term of the current local government administration will expire within this 90-day period. So we have a very unique opportunity where we're having a total transformation in the state, not only at the state level, but also at the local government level. There is a window, there's a very unique opportunity we have. And I just think it is fortuitous, and we should use this opportunity to its fullest. We may never find an opportunity like this for a long, long time to come in our state, where you have an administration coming in, and coming in the way they did, because it is God and the people that brought us into power. And he must have done it for a purpose. And we believe that the only way to thank God is to make sure that we begin to do the things he wants us to do for our people. Because we cannot continue like this. Our people are suffering too much. 20 years into our democracy, this democracy doesn't seem to give them hope. It's like the democracy is only for the people who are in the democratic system. The executive, the members of the legislature, the people in the local government, they are the only ones. Everybody else is looking up and not knowing what will happen. So there's so much apathy, there's so much anger, there's so much frustration in the land. And our democracy is not addressing. So we have a unique and very unique opportunity in Edo State. Because we're the only ones that have come out to say, fine, we don't have any godfathers. We just fight this thing through. We'll rely on the people to bring us back into power. And we did, and they brought us back. So that is a fundamental break and change. And it shouldn't stop there. It should go round through the entire process. And we had a session yesterday with the transition team, and something came out clear. And they said, look, Mr. Governor, you can do all you want to, changing the civil service, but that will not change Edo. Where the change must start from is at the local government. Because without changing the fundamentals, the foundation of governance, then nothing will change. We are pushing very, very hard at the executive level in the state. So we are not going to appoint commissioners for now. Let me, us and the civil servants, let's sit down, let's understand how are things supposed to be done. What do the books say? What do the regulations say? Where have we deviated? Why have we deviated? Let us fix it quickly before we now appoint commissioners and begin to run a normal system. It is the same thing we want to do for local governments. And for you, it's even fundamental, because your tenure will end in another 2 months, right? The tenure of the current local government executives. And we will be going for elections. This is a unique opportunity to find out from you what went wrong, what did you notice, and what must we do to fix it if our democracy is to survive. You don't have nothing to lose. Say it as it is. And you know what? The people have, and God have given me power. We will try as much as possible to make those changes happen. What are the key issues? What are the key issues? First and fundamental is governance. How are our local governments governed? Yes, the Constitution provides for how local government chairmen and executives are elected, right? But the process of election itself affects the nature of governance. Yeah, and you'll see it in Edo because of the way I have been elected. It's definitely affecting the way we are going to govern Edo. Because I realized that the reason why people voted for me, for us as a government, is because of that hope. Given the track record we had, they feel that If we are allowed to continue, we'll do more for them. So the parents of the almost 300,000 children we have in our basic school system knew that they would lose something. They could lose something if there was a change and there's no Edo Best anymore. So they came out, they had a stake. So as governor, I have no choice but to continue with Edo Best and improve on it. Because that is one of the reasons why I was given an opportunity to serve. Not one big man, not one person from Abuja or Edo, one godfather was, did it. So I'm not beholden to them. I'm beholden to the people. And therefore, that is the same thing we must do with the elections in the local government. That when you get elected as chairman or a councillor, it is the people, it has to be that the people are the ones sending you there. And so when you get there, your first obligation is to serve the people, not anybody. Because once the people realize that you are serving them, even when you don't have all the resources, they are more empathetic. They trust. They believe that, okay, he's trying. We didn't do everything we could in 4 years, did we? But people said, but they are trying. Let's give them a chance. Let us continue to support them. Of course, you had the bad people who were saying he has not done nothing, his own MOU, but that's politics. But going, for us, particularly in the local governments, we don't have enough. Therefore, the little we have to be able to convince the people that we're using all of it for their own good. You'll be shocked that they on their own will, help you get more resources to work for them. What are we supposed to do for the people as local governments? The local government is the first point of interaction with government, with our democracy. How many people can see the governor in Edo State? How many? Very few. Even before you get to government house, the cost of getting there, the security won't allow you to get to me. But they can walk into the local government chairman's house or office. Because see me, see you. Is that not so? I understand that things have broken down. But I want to let you know that the whole of Edo South used to be one local government. The whole of Edo Central used to be one local government. In the First Republic, the design of our democracy realized that local governments were at the first, in fact, the most important structure. The most important structure in our democratic experiment. So don't think that you are not important. Don't think that it's the governor. No, the governor can't be governor without the local governments. What are the key things people need? They need security. So in this session, I brought with me a security team I'm working with, who are helping us with the new security design. And you will be able to talk to them and they'll talk to you to see how can we realistically secure our people. As we can see from NSAS, we have to protect ourselves. We have to secure ourselves. Nobody can secure us. And security is local. So the core of security has to be at the local government. We need to provide education. So if you look at this, the local government expenditure profile, the biggest element of your spend is education, is it not? You have to pay the teachers. They are superb. So if we are spending so much of our earnings on education, doesn't it show that education is important? And therefore, we must make sure we get the most we can out of that investment. Because at the end of the day, it's about people. That child you train well today is going to be the Dangote of tomorrow. And he can generate more revenues that can pay for a whole state, if not the country. So that investment in education is very, very key. So it really, really hurts When I see local government chairmen or people who don't want teachers, they want to post teachers out so that they can have enough revenue, that they have enough money to do projects. What project can be more important than the human project? Tell me. I see local government chairmen, they're rejecting teachers. They don't want, no, there are too many teachers in our local government. Meanwhile, most of our communities, most of the schools in our communities are understaffed. The other issue affects human beings, healthcare. Thanks to COVID, you know, we never used to care, we never bothered. Those of us who are privileged, the ones who are sick, we get on a plane, we go to Dubai, we go to India, because we can go and get treatment. With COVID, can we go anywhere? So it's same as you. We have to fix the system. And every disease starts small. So, and the first point of contact with the healthcare system is the primary healthcare system. Your chose and choose. At the end of the day, you say you have about 3,000 chose and choose in the system, but where are they? Every local government has multiple PHCs, is that not so? But how many of them are equipped? They were just projects. Somebody has made his money and gone. Then, the local governments that should staff, train the people who should occupy, those buildings, they don't do. They don't do so. So our women, children who should have survived, die out of no fault of theirs. I mean, it was so harrowing for me going to a primary healthcare center in one local government, and women were being delivered with torchlights in 2020. Why? Meanwhile, when you look at your payroll, how many choose are supposed to be there? If we are paying them, why can't we get them to work? If they don't know, why can't we train them? So the point is, for governance to be effective, we have to first deal with the human beings. Let us stop this wrong notion of thinking that what is most important is infrastructure. Let's build that human infrastructure first before we can build the physical infrastructure. It's the human beings that build the physical infrastructure. Growing up, how many of us, were taken to school with cars? Didn't we trek? In many villages, how many roads were there? Ordinary good parts, but as long as the schools were good, are you today? Don't you own your vehicles? Don't you own your own infrastructure? So let's now, I think this whole session is, let's begin to think of what's important. What should we emphasize? And what should we focus on? I've talked about security. The human being has to be secured. Before we now talk about infrastructure. Infrastructure for what? It has to be infrastructure to support economic activities. Because people need to live. It cannot be fancy infrastructure. We will get there eventually, but let us build what is critical and necessary. I see how much you people spend in grading roads. I just smile. And I'm saying, sometimes the cost you spend in grading roads could stabilize that road for more than 2 rainy seasons. You could build, how much does it take to build a road? What is a road? Is it not to clear the bush out of the place, stabilize the earth, and protect and cover it? That's a road. If the British built roads that last till today, I mean, how much did they have then? The level of corruption in our system does not allow us to do what we need to do with what we have. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Help me, help my brother, give him this contract. Is it for, I mean, sometimes it's really annoying. Are you a contractor? Find your own work. So I give you the job, then you now go and give it to the person who can do it. Right? You make your own, the contractor makes his own. Then who loses? The people. That's the way we've run government. It's not that we have enough, but what we have is more than sufficient to get us much further than where we are today. The resource people are here. For me, it's just to open this session and to explain to you why we must do this. And that the administration in our local government, the Local Government Service Commission, you have done so much disservice to this country. So much disservice. And I see people go to church to pray, and I said, I just hope that God hears our prayers. No, because you cannot go and pray on Sundays and do all the praise and worship and still go and do the things we do inside the administration of our local government. The hoggers, you know what I'm talking about. Don't you? You all know. It's like we're just here for ourselves. The people don't matter. Whatever comes is for us. If there's anything left to give to the people. That's the mentality in which we use to run local government. And I say the state too. But you know what? We're out here. With COVID, we are going nowhere. We have to fix Nigeria. We have to fix it. Nobody's going to come from anywhere to fix it for us. You want to go somewhere else, they say, no, go home. Go back to your country. Or if you come, go and quarantine. I went to London for the first time, after 9 months, a couple of months ago, and nobody told me. I wanted to leave, come back home. So there's an imperative today. The good thing is that we can fix it. I know we can. I can assure you that we can. There's nothing to it. It's for us to just be true to ourselves and just do what we need to do. Realizing that if it is good for us, it will be better for you. Because you are on top already. It's that with that mentality that the local government service, civil service should be more about giving, not taking. Because God has already given you by putting you where you are. So having found yourself where you are today, you now want to give. Because in giving, it will be better for a lot more people and for you too. Are you happy when you're there and everybody, they're sending you texts, sending you messages, please, 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 help me. Are you happy? How many people can you help individually? It's better to help the system so that more people can benefit. So this session is one that is going to be quite destructive. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Let us name names if we have to. And if we have to go and tell those people to say, no, this is not going to happen this time. The people must choose who their local government leadership will be. The next elections, we will not accept godfathers in local governments. We will not. Because we have said no to godfatherism in Edo State. We will not accept godfathers. We can only people of proven integrity, people who have demonstrated capacity, people who their people know have served and will serve them, should be the people we should elect as chairmen and councillors in our local government. On a final note, I want to assure our consultants, many of you have managed great institutions. You have worked in great institutions, multinational, and so you have a world of experience and a wealth of experience. But you are dealing with local people. So we have to look for a way to localize those thoughts, those ideas, so that they begin to understand how the building blocks can be put together and why they are the core building blocks for that great institution that we need to build. On that note, I want to welcome you and declare it open.
That is why we are here this afternoon, because we need to change what the people say about government. COVID-19 has changed the narrative. How do you want to make an impact if you do not have the right resources or the right level of resources to make an impact? The impact you will make is in your ability to do projects, to train children, to pay salaries and pay it on time. to do projects that will have an impact on the lives of the people. And all of that goes back to the Naira. If you look at Nidu's presentation, he already told us our IGRO is in single-digit units. And for a state that is as endowed as Edo State, it is a shame. It is a big shame. That means we have opportunities that we are not utilizing. That means that there are things that we should be doing that we are not doing. It's like a woman who has a womb and refuses to incubate a child. Not because she's unable to, but because she says, no, I'm the modern woman, I don't want to incubate a child. That's what we are doing. We have the womb, we have the resources, but we have refused to incubate the child. And this morning we want to see, how do we do that? What that has shown us is that our main source of funding as local government is from federal government allocation. And because there was oil in Nigeria, I think that's one of our biggest problems. Because before oil, we had a lot of resources. We had groundnuts, we had cocoa, we had rubber, we had palm oil. Where are all these resources today? Why is it not giving us IGR? That should be mind-boggling. I was surprised to read that Malaysia exported palm oil worth over $20 billion in 2019. And the total crude oil revenue to Nigeria was about $10 billion, 50% of palm oil. And we've had knife for even before I was born. So what are we doing with the resources we have in Edo State? We have opportunities. How are we utilizing them? And that is the truth of the matter that we have come to talk about today. The main source of funding for that allocation that we are looking at is crude oil. It forms 85% of our current exchange revenue. But I'm going to show you graphs to show you that this picture is a mirage. If we are going to sit down and continue to expect that federal government is going to fund us, then we have already, as a state, that mega vision will not be actualized. Because the federal government does not have the resources to continue to support the states at the level they've done in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years. Federal government earnings is on a downward trend. Year on year, we are having wider and wider budget deficits. We are borrowing to close our budget deficits as a nation. What does that mean? We are leaving debts for our grandchildren and great-grandchildren to pay, that they don't know what we spent it on. Are this money being used for projects that impact the lives of the people? If it was, there won't be so much dissatisfaction amongst the common men in Nigeria. The dissatisfaction is that because all of the resources that we are seeing being borrowed is not impacting on the lives of the people. We have increased inflation over time. I'm going to show you something on that. But we are here, and we want to hear from you. We want to understand from you. What is your plan in the light of all these realities to ensure that as a government, we continue to make an impact on our people, and that we will join with the vision of the governor, make Edo State great again, and ensure that every Edo man, woman, citizen, indigene, resident who has an interaction with government comes back to say, oh, this is the model state, and I'm proud that I am an Edo man. And that is where we want to be as a people and as a government. Next slide, please. I just want to do a situation analysis for you, just to show where we are. And for us to know that the EndSARS riot we saw, that we were crying, that one is chicken's play. My children will say it's moi moi leaf, because moi moi leaf, when you unwrap the moi moi, you throw away the leaf, it's useless. So the EndSARS protest we saw is moi moi leaf. When the next one comes, if we don't change the way we are doing things, that is what you would call the egg inside the moi moi. You know, that's the one that people are looking for, the one that is important. We see pair. And the thing that is even paining me in the whole matter is that at that point, the frustration will be so high, they will not be able to differentiate between government and non-government, between multinational worker and local government chairman. So if we sit back and say, that is for people in government, it doesn't us. When the kasala burst, now all of us go run. I'm just telling you the truth as it is. When the trouble comes, If you are somebody that reads the Bible, there was one part in the Bible, I'm not so good, but I remember the story. I don't know where it is in the Bible. They said that things were so bad. The women were prizing their children. Say, you bring your pikin, may we chop today, tomorrow we'll chop my pikin. That's where we are going to in Nigeria. If you've not seen it, that is where we are going. And we need to stop, take stock, and reverse the trend so that we do not become a failed people. When the French Revolution was going to happen, from the stories I heard, they went and told Marie Antoinette that, the people are rioting, they said there's no bread. And she said that if there's no bread, they should eat cake. Person one of you afford bread, they eat cake. When the revolution came, all the royalty in France was wiped out. All of them. The people took to the streets and they decided to kill the elite. Nigerians are frustrated, so frustrated, we're almost at that point. They are so frustrated. People stayed in Lekki toll gate. They knew soldiers were coming. And they stood there to say, I beg, make them not say we're serious. That is the only reason why guns, they were able to shoot them. If to say they run, they will not shoot them. It tells you how frustrated a man is when he says, I would rather face the gun than turn my back and run. That is the level of frustration that our people are at. And we need to reverse the trend. And the people to reverse that trend in Edo State are all sitting in this room. And we want to hear from you. What are you going to do to reverse that trend? If you look at this slide, crude oil production and price. Production is going down. Price is going down. When we were small, I think it was Fala that sang it. Double wahala for the body and the owner of the body. Double wahala. Now double wahala with the CISO. The production is going down. The price is going where? So the money we are getting in federal government, is it rising? Okay, truth be told. Look at your exchange rate. Your earnings are going down. Your Naira exchange rate is going up. What does that do to the cost of living and the cost of goods of services? It's going. So when your earnings are going down and your costs are going up, there must be economics graduates in this room. I didn't read economics because I don't know money. I'm an engineer by profession. But when you see this kind of thing, it tells you a story. There's trouble looming. How do we close that gap between our earnings and the cost of our goods and services, which equates to the lives of our people and how good and effective the lives they will live is? Next slide, please. If you now look at the inflationary rate over 10 years, I said I will even explain this one because I'm not an economist. The thing confused me. After I did the analysis, I can't confuse. Waiting this thing they talk. So I just put it down in simple terms. An item that sold for 100 Naira in 2010, due to inflation over time, will cost 234 Naira 54 kobo by end of 2019. That is if the inflation rate is linear. Unfortunately, inflation rate is not linear. The governor understands what I'm saying. He knows money. I don't know money. Do you understand? Inflation rate is not linear. They calculate it month on month. So it's average you are seeing. So if you do the month on month calculation, we can assume that the cost of something that cost 100 Naira in 2010 is at least 500 Naira as we stand today. That means 100 Naira of 500 Naira of today is actually 100 Naira. They have something they do, net present value. If you look at the net present value, is 100 Naira. Because what you can buy with that 500 Naira is 100 Naira what? Have we increased salaries by 500%? Have business profitability increased by 500%? So what has that done? No, we need to look at the impact. Go back. If you look at the impact on staff buying power, it has reduced by 80% from 2010 to date. This shows that both governments and the people are getting poorer year on year. The only way we can mitigate this is to look at the opportunities that are bound around us and begin to talk to ourselves and say, how do we harness these opportunities? How do we begin to increase our IGRO from 6% And we have said and put a target that for local governments, IGRO should be circa 150% of federal government allocation within the next 3 years. And that is the vision that we want to drive. And that is where we want to be. I think I've given the message as well as I can. I know there are other slides that actually show a lot about our revenue and all of that. Go forward. But I think the main message we want to show is that we are not where we should be. The frustration is rising. Even for me, the frustration is rising. Unfortunately, what I've come to realize, even when I go and look for old dress I wear, I go to the market, and when you get to the market, it be like, say, the face, they talk, the skin, they talk, they know, say, you get money. Waiting that, you know, that they know, it person forehead. So it doesn't matter, you think you go run and lie, they know you, they go know you, your skin, they talk. AC don't change the game. When you come out, they'll say, now rich man be this, they will call you. And by God's grace, we will not care, because we have a governor with a vision. And we're going to have local government chairmen that buy into that vision to say, enough is enough. We are here to serve. We are here to change the game. We are here to do something that will change the lives of our people. We are here because we are here to serve the people. We are leaders to serve the people because the people and God have put us here. And the only legacy we are going to leave is a legacy that will benefit the people, improve their livelihood, and give them a country, a state, a local government, and a community that they can be proud of. Thank you very, very much.